Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 64 today and we are back for more championship action. We've got Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest, two of the big promotion contenders, all within 4 points of the top at home. And if we can win them, we might be in with an outside playoff chance ourselves. It's very early days. And we have had seasons like this before. We started well one of the years in League 2 and then just drifted down the league. And we have got to bear in mind that it's a classic championship season. Look at that, top 13 is separated by 6 points. This is going to be one hell of a year. But if we can keep our points total up, if we can get ourselves safe early doors, we should be able to have a relaxing season. If you're looking forward to finding out if we can get the results and continue what's been a pretty decent start to the season, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from two long-term stories. You can find our latest season from the head coach up in the eye above, as well as the latest episode of Review the 92, and there's links to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and the food channel too, with new regular content on all of those platforms. But let's take a look at what's been happening here, because remarkably, we're in 5th place and we've got the best goal difference in the league. And that's despite the fact we've not been able to put teams away quite a bit. So there are positive signs. We're definitely looking good. And more importantly, we're having a wonderful cup run. If I show you the schedule, we're getting a little bit fortunate, it's got to be said. We haven't yet played a Premier League team. We've drawn League 2 Southend in the 4th round. Reunion with Andre Brooks, the left back. That should be incoming unless he's been sold in the summer. But we're in decent form. You were with me for a battering of Hull at the end of August, as well as deadline day. Was a hectic one where we signed 4 players, so make sure you check it out if you haven't. But we didn't really bounce back too well from that after the international break. We came back and only picked up 1 point from 3 games. And we couldn't score. That was the issue. We drew 1-1 away at Huddersfield. Ricky J. Jones' goal was cancelled out late on. But then at home to Preston, we dominated and lost 1-0. Away at Sunderland, we were well and truly battered. Worst performance of the season by far. At home to Shrewsbury in the Cup, we almost got shocked, but just about made it through. Will Swan's goal was cancelled out in the 90th minute. We did miss a couple of penalties, but in sudden death, Gareth McDonough got the winner in the end. A 2-1 victory followed at home to Stoke. Albie Armin got the first. Scott Egan scored an own goal. But not to be outdone, I've got to show you Finley Burns' own goal, because it reminded me a little bit of Lee Dixon back in the 90s, if anyone remembers it. It was probably worse. Let me show you it, because it's mad. So, here we go. The ball's played out from the keeper to him. On halfway, chips his own keeper, who goes up for a header and misses it to the side rather than above him. And it's into the net. So almost scored an own goal from the opposing half. A stunning one, really. But that was the winning goal in that game and is why we're now in a playoff place. Away to Birmingham, we won by 4-1. Rodell Richards with a brace. Ricky J. Jones and Arthur Reed with 1 each too. Tyrese Campbell, star in our head coach series, scoring the goal for Birmingham. And a 0-0 draw at Coventry, as again, we really struggled at the back. And a bit like the game against Sunderland, we were just outplayed, but this time Zach Geacock was unbelievable. We managed to get ourselves another crucial point. So 18 after 10 games, we certainly can't complain at that. We have got to factor a few things in though. I know we've played some of the early leaders in the Championship, but now we're coming up to a spell where we play probably some of the biggest sides on paper. Borough and Forest expected to be up there. QPR established. Bournemouth, Fulham, Burnley all to come in the next month. It's going to be a real test for us between now and the end of November to stay anywhere near where we are at the moment. Regardless though, it's been a fabulous start to the season. I have no complaints whatsoever. You may have noticed from the Stoke game, some of these teams are bringing big away followings and we're now getting 7,000-8,000 for some of these games. None lower than 6 all year in the league, only really the Cups where we've been a little bit short. But regardless, it's been a fantastic start to the season. Kamoy Richardson is making his way back from injury and we're just starting to look like a championship side, and I didn't expect that to happen in the first year. Of course, these 2 games are going to be a real barometer for how far we've come. We are without 1 or 2 players, Sol Alidor Hamilton being the primary one. He's been out for the best part of a month now. He's picked up a knock, but with Richardson coming back, it's a position we're full of good players. Kamoy Richardson there, not really lost anything from being out injured for a long time. It's just whether he can gain as quickly as he was prior to the injury. So everything looking pretty nice. We have no complaints at where we are. Let's go and get into the first of today's 2 games. Middlesbrough at home, the first of 2 games in 4 days. It's one of those 3-game weeks with a big shift away at Coventry, chasing the ball a lot of the time. We will have to make 1 or 2 changes. So Middlesbrough currently in 9th place, but they overtake us if they win this and could go as high as 2nd. And we could drop a good 5 or 6 positions too. So we want to try and keep ahead of the curve. If I remind you of the season preview, we were expected to be second bottom. But today, Middlesbrough are a mid-table team, Forest a top half team. And then I mentioned all those teams coming up. The likes of Fulham, Bournemouth, Burnley, expected to be in the top 4, all of them. Reading even in 9th place. We're going to have to be at our best if we want to keep picking up points in the Championship. We cannot get complacent at this stage. I've just noticed the highlighted star player for the league is that goalkeeper who just got lobbed in that own goal. Gallego is pretty good, so I'm not sure what's happened to him there, but we're not going to complain. It's us against Middlesbrough. It's a tough game. They've got Jesse Lingard, Sean Longstaff. That's just 2 of many, I'm sure. But let's see what 11 we can put together. And I'm having to be calculated here. The reason I say I'm having to be calculated is because as well as having this midweek game and the weekend, we've then got another midweek game in the League Cup. But for the Cup games, Max Taylor and Kamari Doyle are cup tied, so I want to try and look after them a bit. The issue in the number 10 role though is that Leon Bullock, I mentioned it in the last episode, I know he was then brilliant against Hull, but he's just not in great form at the moment. So we're going to discuss with him, we're going to warn him about his recent form, and we're just going to ask him to pick himself up. I'm going to give him one more chance. Doyle will play at the weekend. Our 11 in full though is G-Cock between the sticks. McDonough and Armin the fullbacks with Thornley and Doyle as centre half. Egan, Richardson, his first start of the Championship season. His first start in any competition since coming back. Arthur Reed and Bullock are the diamond. And then Richards and Jones, the front 2. We've got good midfielders on the bench if we need them. We've got a pretty strong squad at the moment. But can we get the result? Bennett Sheriff's getting a rest. Hopefully he'll be fit for the weekend. And we'll be able to stay in form. So it's 2 changes from our last game. A few more recognisable names in that Middlesbrough team. Akin Famiwo, we had in our Twitch stream save with Derby briefly. They've also got the youngster from Villa in the middle, who's now obviously in his mid-20s. They've got Corley Woodrow up front, the former Barnsley man. And the same for Walton in goal. George Wickens, Bangor City legend for anyone who was following last year. He's on the bench for Borough as sub-keeper. And they've got the likes of Rakeem Harper, Chem Campbell, Darnell Furlong. Loads of quality if they need it. 4 changes for them, 2 for us. Now let's go and put on a show. Well, 12 minutes on the clock and it's Leon Bullock driving forward, although he is challenged by Longstaff. Falls for Armin on halfway and he releases Thornley. Comes over halfway to central defender. You have seen a couple of great home performances already this season. Can we get another though as Richardson finds Reed to Richards to Bullock into the box. We had the chat with him and it's worked yet again. Rodell Richards sets up Bullock. I might have to show every home game on camera because we seem to be at our best when I show you guys the game. 1-0 Hemel Hempstead Town, a brilliant start. And we've got another corner, in-swinger from Arthur Reed, headed away to the edge of the box. Bullock is there again. Turns in from the left wing, finds Egan. Support from Doyle. Got options, goes to Thornley. And he plays Egan again to Bullock, to Richardson, through to Ricky J. Jones. Oh, he smashed the woodwork with a brilliant effort. It stays 1-0, but we look scintillating. It looks like it might be one of those games again. We've just got to take those chances. But Middlesbrough come roaring back. They've got a throw on the right, which releases Corley Woodrow. Down the wing they go. The ball's into the box. It's a brilliant delivery. McDonough gets there and heads away, though, to Thomas on the left. Back into midfield. Bogard picks it up to Longstaff. Keeping it well as it's chipped into Craney. 1-on-1 with a keeper. Hits the post. And Woodrow's rebound. Anywhere else it was in. Goes straight at the goalkeeper G-Cock, who gives it away with a goal kick. Arthur Reed gets their second ball, though, to Armin and Thornley. Egan keeps it well. We're playing some lovely stuff, but you don't want to get caught by the high press here, which Middlesbrough's certainly implementing. Up towards Rodell Richards, down for Bullock, through to Ricky J. Jones. That is absolutely sensational. Just passing it around at the back, nice and calmly, nice and slowly. And the flick of the switch, the tempo increases. And suddenly we produce some superstardom. That makes it 2-0 with 10 to the break. And Ricky J. Jones back amongst the goals. Bullock certainly responding to the chat. Well, what a pleasantly surprising performance. Middlesbrough have actually got the higher expected goals, but we've been ruthless. And we just seem to have those odd games. You saw against Hull in the last episode. We saw it against Cardiff prior. We just have the odd game where every chance goes in, and then 2 or 3 where we really struggle to score. I can't quite explain it, to be honest. As Doyle gets the ball out from the back to McDonough, let's hope we can get a third and make this comfortable. Got to remember to take Richardson off around the hour mark. Rodell Richards has now picked up a knock too, so we'll do that after this highlight as Thomas gets it on the left to Furlong. Into midfield, lovely switch of play, Longstaff's up, they've committed 3 forwards. That one's over the bar. Let's make the change up front. Javan Malcolm will get himself a run out. And hopefully we can get through another 10 minutes, then maybe make the change in midfield. As we've got a free kick on halfway with Doyle to Richardson. Looked pretty good today. He's had a tidy game, to be honest. And Reed looking the more tired, though. Richardson gives it away. Thomas picks it up on the left-hand side. Not the moment we want to let them back in the game. Over the top again. It's class play. Thomas will deliver. Simple as that. But Thornley with a fantastic interception. Nearly swore there. It was absolutely brilliant. Out to the right-hand side. Borough, wave after wave of attack. Get to the byline again. Back to Longstaff. Chance to cross. It goes out to the byline, into Woodrow, back to Craney, into Lingard. And it's a good save from Zach Geacock again. It stays 2-0, but we are living dangerously. I'm going to take Arthur Reed off in a moment for Callon Hazeman. As Geacock goes over the top, Malcolm brings it down. Up to Bullock again. Finds Ricky J. Jones. Bullock's in. He's played brilliantly. That one's over the bar. Let's get some fresh legs on in the middle. Callon Hazeman to be introduced. But it's Middlesbrough coming forward again. We cannot stop them at the moment. They're rampant as Armin makes an interception. Looking knackered himself now. Might have to think about using him as the final sub and giving Richardson 90. As Craney's down the right and it's where all of Borough's threats come in. Thomas heads just over. I know it's early, but I'm going to do it. Thornhill on at left back. We've got fresh legs in. Richardson having a solid game. I don't know if he's going to see it out though. Let's praise the lads. Let's try and keep them on board. With 20 to go, we'll try and cling on. And it seems to have calmed down a bit. With 15 left, we've got a throw on the left for Thornhill. Just inside the Borough half, it works its way to Bullock and Jones and Javan Malcolm. First goal of the season for him. He's only been a bit part player so far, but he didn't expect to be a Championship one when he joined us in League 2. And we're just about doing it. But it's not a game we've dominated like the others. Hull and Cardiff, we battered them. This one's been an even game, as Lingard on the left. Plays it inside to Harper the sub. That's a great strike. What an effort from the substitute. Rakeem Harper with a goal for Borough. Can it be a late comeback? Because they've been brilliant. They've attacked plenty. Their expected goals is still higher. And they've had nearly double the amount of shots. Well, crucially for us, Borough, after making all the subs, have gone down to 10 men. That is helpful. And it's got us to stoppage time with the score still intact as Thornley heads away to Malcolm. Can we counter them here? No, but just keep in possession. Very professional from the young side, it's got to be said. Not in a rush to get forward as Bullock flicks on for Malcolm. He's in again. Can he get through one-on-one? He didn't quite have the legs, so he went for the shot from the edge of the box. It was pretty wayward in truth, but we'll forgive him because he scored a crucial goal. It is Hemel Hempstead Town 3, Middlesbrough 1. As we praise the lad, surely having had 3 of these performances in 11 games now, surely we're going to do enough to stay up. And I know we're in a false position at the moment, but these boys are doing brilliantly. Well, how's that for Championship football? We've somehow gone top of the league based on other results. There are 4 points separating the entire top half. If we lose our next 2 games, we could be 13th. It's absolutely ridiculous, this league. I love the Championship. And it does show that although we're having a great start, we're not pulling away. We're not going to be like last year, but I'm loving it while it lasts. A fantastic result, even if not a dominant performance. But what about the Richards injury? Is he going to be fit at the weekends? No. So not only will he miss that, he'll miss the cup tie and the game the weekend after too. That's the one thing we can't afford. We haven't got the biggest squad. When we've got 3 games a week, we can't have 2, 3, 4 injuries. So hopefully we can avoid that. But at the moment, after a pretty dreamlike start to the Championship, we've got 4 days to recover before we host Nottingham Forest. Fitness test time ahead of the Forest game. Rather worryingly, Ricky J. Jones is up there, but looks fully fit at the moment. Hamilton not quite back yet. It says he could play, but I'm not going to risk that. We did also get another injury during the week. Jason Ferris is going to be out for a month, which means we can't then rotate as much in the cup, which could cause knock-on problems. And it is now 3 players out injured, so 1 or 2 more and we could be in trouble. And Luton's manager has been sacked, just on a slight side note as well. Let's get cracking though with the Forest game. They are 3rd in the league, we are 2nd. Bristol City battered Burnley last night by 4 goals to 0. Some incredible results early this season. But let's see if we can maintain our form, because we could slide down the league very quickly if we stop getting results at this stage. So Ryan Yates still here at Nottingham Forest, but they've got Jack Rodoni, Louis Barry, a few fairly young players in game. Johan Wisser's there. That's a decent side, you know. You can see why they're up there. And you'll see why we made a lot of changes in the week now, because McDonough was brought in for Bennett Sharif. That's because he's now ineligible against his parent club. Rodell Richards injured, which means Javan Malcolm will start, and that lone space in the squad will be replaced by David Kelly on the bench. We have now got 18 fit players and 2 goalkeepers outside the squad. That is it. What can we do in defence though? We've got to be very careful here, looking into the week for the cup tie as well, who can and can't play. Max Taylor is going to come in for Adam Doyle at the back, who's got a heavy match load. That means that in midweek we'll have him rested because Max Taylor can't play. And then Kamari Doyle's got to come in too. I don't really want to take Bullock out after the last display. I think it's going to be Camoy Richardson because he's someone who we need to protect. He can't play 2 games in 4 days after not starting a game since breaking his leg in April or whenever it was, March. So we've got to look after him. Our starting 11 sees a number of changes. Taylor, Bennett Sharif, Kamari Doyle and Javan Malcolm are in. A couple of those enforced, a couple through choice. Now let's see if we've got the balance right. 4 changes for us, just the one for Nottingham Forest. A couple of players that weren't mentioned in that pre-match preview. They've got the likes of Leif Davis, Tom McIntyre and Ethan Laird in their defence. Is very strong. On the bench there's some quality too. Bryce Samba now the number 2 keeper. So let's see what we can achieve. We're going to ask the lads to pick up where they left off. They played really well last time. And hopefully they respond again. If Bullock can find his form, if Jones can stay in form, we've got a chance. If not, could be a long day. And early doors, it is Forest with a throw on the left. This is probably where we've struggled a bit this season. We've been able to put in the odd great display. You've seen Cardiff Hull. You've seen the one in the midweek here. What we've struggled to do is have 2 or 3 games in a row where we've been at our very best. As Barry's in down the right for Forest, just overhit the cross towards Visser. And it's back to Davis, into the box again. Leif Davis shoots over the bar. It's pretty comfortable in the end, but early signs suggest this is going to be a much more difficult test, as Bennett Sharif's got a throw on the right to Egan. Not even 10 minutes on the clock yet, as Kamari Doyle goes back to Taylor, into Egan again and Thornley, not sure what he's doing up there, to Bullock, to Egan, to Doyle, to Jones. It's lovely football. Bullock shoots from the edge, just over the bar. He's finding form again now, and if we can have a little run from him, it's going to be a great old season. But with 15 gone, Forest probably just edging this, as Hayes chips the ball up to Louis Barry. On the right, Armin with a great challenge. Only finds Ethan Laird though. Gets to the byline. Can he get the delivery in? He can. Shepherd's is up just off the bar. Geacock getting there the second time. And it's cleared away as far as Laird, who still comes forward to Rodoni. Into Shepherd's. He's got support from both wide men. Leif Davis is one of them. Goes for the shot again. Geacock almost fooled, but just parries it down and holds it in the end. We're surviving, but Nottingham Forest the dominant force here. As we're back with Bennett Sharif again in the right back area for us, to Taylor. I've got to say, we don't look quite as settled with the newer boys in defence, but we're doing a decent job, and so far it's still a clean sheet for whatever the performance has given. As Arthur Reed goes forward towards Malcolm, running in after getting his first goal last time, and the keeper has got caught in no man's land. Awful from Hayes in the Forest goal, but Javan Malcolm is having a little purple patch, and with him coming into the team to replace an injury, that's very much what we need. So we'll take it. In a game we've been the second best side for the most part. We lead 1-0 as we approach the break, and we still stay top of the championship somehow. I remember my club Luton had a spell like this in the mid-2000s. We came up to the championship and just flew for half a season. Then we very quickly fell back down again. But if we can keep this up and just get to 50 points, the rest of it doesn't matter. It's been a good first half in terms of result. And although Forest are dominating, they've not created anything really clear-cut. They're shooting from distance a lot, and they're not creating brilliant opportunities. So with an hour gone, it is calming down again. We have got to think about changes, and Armin at left back is struggling yet again. Egan in the holding role similar, as Bennett Sharif comes down the right. Through ball is intercepted. McIntyre will get it wide to Davis. Chance for Forest to come forward, but it's a little bit slow at the moment. That one's longer to Esposito, but Taylor deals with it. Malcolm drops in to find Bullock. It's up to Jones. Bullock again. Back to his centre half. No rush to go forward here, as Scott Egan goes all the way back to the keeper. Geacock plays out to Thornley and Arthur Reed. Having another really solid season, just understated, just keeping things ticking over. it's out to Armin at left back. Over halfway he goes, finds Arthur Reed, through ball to Bullock, who's making a brilliant run unopposed, and it's a wonderful save from Hayes the keeper. I'm going to make the change at left back just to protect the legs. It's Thornhill on, Armin off, and we'll think about more in a minute. I'm looking at Bullock and Jones. Jones had a fitness concern at the start. Bullock still not been back for too long. Maybe they're the two we want to protect. As Taylor plays out from the back to Bennett Sharif. We're starting to get a bit more success now as Forest push forward for an equaliser. Goes back to Taylor. We're having a lot more of the ball as Egan into Kamari Doyle. Back to Egan again and Taylor. Very nice football. I'm a happy man. And Forest aren't really pressing at the same intensity now. Are they getting tired as it releases Ricky J. Jones? Shot saved by Hayes. It's brilliant goalkeeping. I think he tried the dink there, but regardless, the keeper was equal to it. It's going to be a corner kick taken by Arthur Reed. Outswinging delivery, left-footed to the back post. Egan's header hits the woodwork. And it's cleared away for a throw by Forest. It could have been the moment, but these lads are defying the odds again. And we're growing in strength here as Malcolm gets the ball on the left wing. Cuts back to Thornhill, who should have fresh legs. The sub left back goes into the box and shoots himself. Hayes does really well with it. Holds it. And we're back straight away again. It is all Hemel Hempstead at the moment. You'd have thought Forest would come back into this. Egan releases Reed through to Kamari Doyle. What a run from centre midfield. And Kamari Doyle gets his first goal for the club. And the tactical changes, the rotation, it's worked. You can't argue with it because two of the men that have come in have scored the goals. So I'm going to take off those two towards the end now. David Kelly will replace Ricky J. Jones and get a run out up front. We're also going to take off Leon Bullock. He'll be replaced by Callon Hazeman or Camoy Richardson. I'm going to do Richardson actually. I want to keep testing him physically, but in small parts. Kamari Doyle will move up to the number 10 role. And we'll get back into it. 14 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And we're actually the dominant side now, which given the first half an hour is a miracle. Into stoppage time, Nottingham Forest have not laid a glove on us in the second half. Can someone explain how we're keeping this momentum? I really thought it would start to run out by now. We have not got a top championship side. I'd argue we've got one that should survive, but we've not got a top 6 team. We're competing up there though. Another brilliant display. And it's 2-0. A ruthless edge. We're starting to look very good. It is of course still very tight. 3 defeats could put us down to 15th place. And we're still only 14 points clear of the relegation zone, which we've collapsed worse than that in League 2 before. But the signs are really positive. There's a hunger in this side. There are young players that are constantly improving. And if anything, you'd expect us to get stronger over the season. 5 unbeaten now, just that draw against Coventry in the middle. Otherwise, picking up wins and scoring a lot of goals. Arthur Reed, really impressing. He's had a new contract and he's showing he's a championship player. And we're top of the championship after 12 games. I mean, what more can you ask for? Bristol City have played a game more. There's a couple that have played one less. But I am just running out of words for this side. They're so good. We're in a championship with players like Tyrese Campbell, Che Adams, Marco Asensio. I mean, come on. I know he's 32, but he's a wonderful player. And we are competing at the very top end of it. I don't know how long it'll last, but we're going to enjoy the ride. Let's have a look at when we're next going to be back. Look, we could get a League Cup quarter-final that might change this, because surely if we get to the last 8, we're going to get a bigger side. Looking at the rest of the draw, I know some of the big boys are still left in it, Chelsea, Liverpool and United, but if we have a look at the other ones, there's a lot of championship teams left. Providing there's not a massive quarter-final, I think we're going to be back for Burnley and Derby. Derby, of course, the side we're managing on Twitch. They are one of the top sides according to the media here. And Burnley relegated from the Premier League, armed with Marco Asensio. But they've had a poor start. They'll be hoping to have bounced back by then. But if you want to find out if we can keep this momentum going, if you did enjoy seeing back-to-back wins, ruthless displays when we weren't at our best, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. The head coach will continue tomorrow. You can find the latest season in the eye above. And then we'll be back here in 2 days' time to continue what's been a brilliant start to Championship life. And a massive thank you for watching, your continued support as always. It's all going a bit too swimmingly, isn't it? Are we going to get a crash back down to earth? I'll see you next time to find out.